Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to this week's Critically Casual. I'm your host, Recuffs, and joining me as always is the dastardly devious Dorkydev. The illustration. Hi, Dev, what's up?
Hi.
Did you not like that intro?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, what you got? But hi, you any big news or anything we want to talk about before we start getting into this week's movies?
I don't I don't know.
No, you got nothing fun. Sorry, I have a cat in my arms who's trying to fight me on where she wants to sit. Get comfortable there. Okay, so if you got nothing, I haven't really got anything. I guess we could just get in here and start talking about today's movies. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else we're gonna do.
I mean, we're friends. We could talk about things if you want to talk about something.
We talk outside of this. Shut the fuck up. God.
Well, this week, I was about to say no. After the show, I'm the one who always leaves first. I'm like, I'm tired of talking to you. Peace out. Bye. But yeah. This week, I'm calling it Trifecta. I probably didn't spell it right, but it doesn't matter. Trifecta? Question mark? Because we got aliens and we got zombies and we got demons and all we need is like robots. And I
Yeah.
think we'd have everything we need.
No, the big three. Robots, aliens, and wizards.
Are zombies wizards?
No.
Are zombies robots?
That's a question.
That's a
question.
It depends on who
That's
you
a
ask.
question.
Because today we're talking about
Now that is the correct question.
yes. Today we're talking about Army of the Dead, A Quiet Place to A Quieter Place.
Oh, shut up. We don't need to die hard that.
And then the third movie would be The Quietest Place.
No, it's A Quiet Place 3. A quiet place with a vengeance.
I like that a lot. Let's see. And then the last movie that we're talking about today is
Conjuring,
The Devil Made Me Do It. So
it's a good title, I gotta say.
It's a little long, but yeah, pretty good.
Sometimes long titles are good, like Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Yeah, sure. That's why it sold so well.
Okay, shut up.
So let's get in here. Let's start talking about the first movie of today, which is
before that, I actually have one thing.
Okay, we're back.
Do you notice the illusion going on here?
The illusion?
The illusion.
Illusion.
The illusion.
No.
Do you notice something different about me?
Hair is parted differently.
It looks like it's cut,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not.
Oh.
Illusion.
Oh.
See?
Uh-huh.
And actually, I didn't even notice how well that actually fakes it. It actually looks like how I normally would cut my hair.
Well, aren't you cool? Well, you know
I am.
something.
That actually makes me really happy how
I've
that
got a
works.
man bun. Oh.
Good for you.
Right.
I don't
Okay,
know.
cool.
This isn't common knowledge.
I just want to talk about my hair too. Gosh. Sorry.
I know, but you didn't do anything different with
No,
it.
I know. Sometimes I usually put it up in a ponytail. Today it's a man bun. There's a difference. I'm even
All right,
more
fair enough.
relaxed.
You know what? Fair enough. You usually do it in a ponytail.
I'm just either way. Let's start talking about the first movie for today, which is Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. Which, if we can say anything, this is 100% Zack Snyder's movie.
Steven.
Yeah. Yeah.
When do you want me to give my list point by point? Because it doesn't really spoil things. There's one that maybe is a spoiler, but like none of this is truly spoiler that I have my notes.
Okay. I mean, we can go over a couple of things. There's a few things that I want to say just right off the bat. I am disappointed only because, I was like, zombie movie, yeah. This isn't a zombie movie, just right off the bat. It's a heist movie set in a zombie apocalypse, which isn't even an apocalypse.
Good one.
Yeah, it's a terrible
not
zombie
a good
apocalypse.
heist movie.
Yeah, not a good heist movie either. It's like this is just all around like I hate to say it, but it's a bad movie. Like,
no shit, Sherlock.
I wanted.
You wanna know how I know it's a bad movie from the get-go? Sean fucking Spicer is in this movie.
Which one, Sean Spicer?
The dude who worked for the Trump administration.
Spicer.
I think his name's Sean Spicer, right? Yeah, Sean Spicer. Male pundit is what he's known as in the news thing at the beginning. When he's arguing with the other person talking about like.
Oh, one of the earlier people. The one of the two early people.
Yeah, in the news thing where they're arguing about like the quarantine stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I learned this was gonna be a bad movie when the blowjob started happening.
Let this be a lesson to you kids. Roadhead is dangerous.
Yeah.
As soon as this movie started, I'm like, oh, it's going to start with this. I 100% agree. Roadhead is dangerous.
Like, I mean, even just that, like, this movie.
That's actually one of my notes.
Yeah,
Roadhead is dangerous.
Yeah. Like, me watching this movie, I just got this, like, overall sense of edgelordness. Like, it was like he was trying to go towards schlocky or campy, but it never went in the right direction. It was just right on the fringe of Zack Snyder being like, yeah, let's do this because we can't. So there's moments where we get a really interesting zombie horde in the opening credit sequence. And I even made a joke during the opening credits. I was like, I wonder if this opening credit sequence is a more interesting movie than the movie we're about to get. And I think it would have been. I 100% think them having to deal with Las Vegas full of shamblers would have been a much better movie. But
yeah,
no, that's not what we get. And it just constantly goes from like funny moments to moments where we're supposed to take the zombies as a threat, and then instantly it dips back into an untrained girl being able to dispatch like 8 of them in a row with just a handgun with no problem at all. And like, there is no middle ground in this movie. It's just Zack Snyder decided he was gonna have fun, and he had fun, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, there are definitely moments in this movie that I thought were entertaining. Like, I think my favorite segment is when a character gets their neck broken.
Yeah, what the fuck?
There's a meat cannon at one point. Not literally, like, visible on screen, but there's a lot of meat that's slapped onto a wall, so I'm assuming it's a meat cannon in the background somewhere.
I mean, probably. Steven.
Yeah?
You know, this is one of those movies where there are bodies.
There are bodies?
And, at least at one point, there are boobs.
Yes.
So do you know what that means?
You doing your ratio.
The B to B ratio, body to boob ratio, ladies and gentlemen. There are a total of 23 bodies in this movie. There are a total of 3 pairs of boobs, giving this ratio a 7.6. I think it's starting to become clear that you can have too many bodies to boobs because the movie still sucks.
I mean, just ask Jason X. It's their body to boob ratio.
I still can't remember the ratio of that. This is the first movie I actually have the ratio now like made before the show. I haven't gone through and done the other ones, but there's gotta be a fine area.
And
there either needs to be like that, or we haven't reached the body count that needs to happen. Because the problem is every one of these have been kind of close to each other ratio wise, except for Jason X, which goes the complete other direction.
Yeah.
Because I'm counting bodies by like bodies we see die on screen. Okay. That includes during the montage. I have to see them die. If they're dead before, doesn't count.
I was about to say, theoretically, don't all of those zombies count as dead people?
I didn't see them die. Thought about it. I'm like, wouldn't these all count as dead bodies? I'm like, no, they aren't deaths.
They're undeaths.
Kinda, yeah. We never see their death. There's and like I kind of assumed one.
Another quick question.
You know what? I assumed one of the deaths.
I was about to say, this cop guy count?
This what?
This cop guy count?
Cop guy?
Yeah, abusive cop guy.
Oh. No, I didn't. I did count him too.
Okay.
This might be two less bodies than I thought. Because I also assumed German.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
We never see it, so
it's implied. It's implied off screen.
Implied, but that's not good enough for us because we've had implied before. That brings it down to 21-3, which is 7. The ratio is 7-1. So, that's about average for these movies that we've seen that have had the ratio stated.
But the problem is the 3 boobs that we got, and this is just me being satirical at this point to go with your ratio.
My satirical bit? Yes, go for it.
The problem is the boobs were too smushed together, We got all 3 pairs of boobs in one 20-second sequence. Yeah. If they were stretched out a little bit more. But then the problem is whose boobs are we going to see? Because one of them's supposed to be a child. And that's a no-go, that's for sure.
I believe she's over 18.
Okay. So then she's back on
Okay, she's a... Wait, are you talking about, Kate?
His daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how old she's supposed to be in this movie.
I think she's supposed to be over 18 because, she's a volunteer at the quarantine thing.
You can volunteer for things at, 16? I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt they'd allow 16-year-olds to volunteer at a possible zombie camp.
Dude, did you see how lax they are at this possible zombie camp? They could literally walk in and out, no problem. They don't care about a second outbreak. Come on.
All right, Steven, I'm going to give you some more of my list.
Okay.
So, Roadhead is dangerous, and why Sean Spicer? No.
Mm-hmm.
Why so many music videos? Because this was at the second music video, right? The first music video is the Elvis Presley Roadhead. Because my quote for music video is that the song pretty much plays in length. For the music has to go longer than 20 seconds. Okay.
Okay, I'll give you that.
The next part is when number 3 hit, and I went, fuck it, we're doing a music video count.
Dude, this movie isn't a musical?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I
was about to say, the whole opening sequence...
There are 8 music videos in this movie.
The whole opening sequence, I was like, this credit sequence, the credit crawl, I was like, I bet Dev's gonna love this, that they're syncing it up with the music, and then they just kept doing it, and I was like, oh. Okay.
The beginning of it I could have dealt with, but it goes forever.
And
I know. Listen, we lived an hour and a half from Vegas. We've heard Viva Las Vegas so many times in our lives. I don't need to hear it again, Zack. I get it. The movie takes place in Vegas. You don't need to drill it into my fucking head in the first fucking 5 minutes, Zack.
You kind of have to, yeah. I
can see the casinos.
I literally watched after this movie. There's a 25-minute behind the scenes or making of Army of the Dead that I watched, and he's like, basically the whole idea was zombies in Vegas, and Netflix was all behind it. It's like, so yeah, he has to heavily imply that we're in Vegas the whole time, you know?
No, he doesn't. That's the problem.
He really doesn't. He really doesn't. I agree with you. It's
the
bad.
Next one that I questioned was, and all I have to say is lemon squeezy. Steven knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly which one.
Why? Why did we need this moment?
They added in that line because I think he got in trouble for it in the past. Like, I'm pretty sure the original origin, the original ending was there, and the test audience didn't like it. So then they added in the lemon squeezy dialogue to make it okay.
Okay.
That one, don't quote me on that 100%. That one could be just a rumor.
Wasn't someone CGI'd like into this movie too? Because someone got like kicked from the cast. Don't quote me on that.
CGI in or CGI out?
CGI'd in. Because I think someone had a like some allegations come out. But don't quote me on that. It was that or a different movie. I can't remember.
Let's see. CGI actor, Army of the Dead. Tig Notaro. The lady actress who played the helicopter pilot. Pilot, not pirate.
Okay. So she was just cut into the movie?
So, yeah, it says here on the wrap that Zack Snyder digitally inserted the comedian into the zombie flick to replace Chris.
Yeah. I'm right.
But it was never exactly seamless.
Yeah, I could say that because sometimes it looked like she was on a green screen.
Yeah, like it's kind of why they never directly interact with her at the same time. Like...
Yep. So that's a different note, though.
So yeah,
this isn't really a spoiler, but I mean, this is one of those ones that's kind of a spoiler, but fuck it. The fuck? Why is there always a zombie baby?
I don't care about it being a zombie baby. I don't care that there is a zombie baby. I'm fine with it. But my problem is like the idea behind this specific zombie baby, because
what it implies?
Yeah, what it implies.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially because I don't like what these zombies are at all.
They are more like the creatures from the I Am Legend.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Especially too because one fun fact is, I'm not sure, it took me a while to know this, our main zombie, he ages ever so slowly, but like his hair grew.
Yeah.
And
I was wondering if that was, honestly, before we saw him, I'm like, I wonder, he's got long hair, 100%. And then I see him like, I called it.
But I think I liked him better with the short hair.
I can agree.
Mm-hmm.
Next note was, Dave isn't a bad actor. I think we can agree on this. Dave Bautista.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say he's bad. I mean, my one complaint is, if he's not a bad actor, his character needs more stakes. Because
also, well, I put this, but damn, some of these lines fucking sucked.
Well, that too, yes. My whole thing is every one of these characters suck. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
My problem with Dave Bautista in his moments is he's supposed to be our main character through this movie, right? Our main antagonist.
Yes.
Or protagonist, not antagonist. He's our main protagonist throughout this movie. But
well, he depends on your perspective in the movie.
Yeah. But as we're going through the movie with him, he doesn't have very many reactions that are happening. Like, he's not the one who gets to react in the background of scenes. He's the one who's usually just standing there looking down and listening. And
yeah,
like that's a little flat for me. And it could just be because this entire movie was filmed on two lenses and both of them were extremely shallow depth of field. But I feel like he needs a little bit more reaction, more stakes in what's going on, especially because like what happens with the story that goes on with his daughter and the resolution with all of that stuff is ultimately pointless. I don't like any of the female characters at all, like his daughter, any of the like the coyote.
They wrote so poorly?
Yeah, honestly, every one of the characters are wrote poorly, but the one that is the most disappointing to me is Maria. Because she's the one who's like she's the one who has that like stereotypical "oh, I'm the lady, so I have to confess my feelings" scene.
Oh my god! It comes out of left fucking field. It's not hinted at the entirety of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, because it looks like they just have a strictly platonic relationship the entirety of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's no hints of there's no mention of a past romance.
But apparently there was one.
And he comes out of the field with it. Another comment. Cheeto and Chief is still president.
Yes.
In that world.
And I love it because of the dialogue that we get in some of the options. Like, it's the biggest fireworks show of all. Like, the most patriotic.
You could say it's the most patriotic.
Yeah.
I was like, the only thing I will say I liked in this movie was Dieter and Van's bonding is kind of fun.
Yeah, Dieter and Van were the best part of this movie. However, Matthias Schwelgolf, whatever his name is, his name that I can't pronounce.
Schwen Gulfer. I forget how that O is said. Goefür. Schroefer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try. Dieter, the character, I felt like he was overacting. That being said, he was still the best part of this movie.
Oh, he was hilarious. And Van's a great part of this movie too.
Yeah.
He's not even on the beginning of this list. I have to go to like expanded cast, don't I?
No, he's number 4.
Oh, is he? Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Omar
Hardwick. He's great in this too. Oh, he was from Kick-Ass. That's where I recognize him. He was from Kick-Ass too.
He was also in what was it? I just saw it. God damn it. Ignore me while I try to read which thing I was thinking of. This one we've. I mean, there is the A-Team, but we haven't seen that in this.
We haven't gotten there yet. That's one that I've had on my list for a while to see if we could do at some point. So after that, I put, why does one have random blue eyes? Because we see that in the pool scene. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's the first time I saw it.
Yeah, there's the random blue eyes, but it continues on. Those random blue things. Yeah.
There's a note further down that explain that is a question.
Yeah. What's that question, Dev?
Oh, well, I'll get there. Okay. There's one note before this. How the fuck are tear ducts working for these zombies?
Are tear ducts working?
Our big boy starts crying.
Hmm.
There's a tear that goes down.
One single tear.
One single tear. And my question is, how? Do they drink water?
I mean,
they don't get enough flesh to eat.
I don't know, man. Zombies in this world are weird.
To the question about the blue eyes, robot zombies? Question mark.
Because it continues, yeah. There's
a shot where it just straight up is a robot head. And I'm like, it's the only time we get a straight up scene with it. And I have so many questions.
Yes, there are tons of questions to ask, and we'll know more answers in the sequel.
There's a sequel coming?
Probably, yeah.
Oh god. Okay. The next question is that Sonya's place from Mortal Kombat?
Good question. Good question. I like
It
that
looks
question.
the exact same.
Same exact set.
In the middle of a desert.
I mean,
It's got the same overhanging piece. It's the same size. You just got rid of the containers behind it. And then my final note: what the fuck was this movie?
it was a disappointment. It really was. There was too many different tones. I didn't like the cinematography. I mean, the coolest part was the CGI that they used because they made basically an entire CGI Vegas Strip. So, so that was cool, but because that's how they did their entire movie. So their locations look nice, but other than that, like the action was the best part of this movie, and everything that connects you to the action and like all the filler stuff was awful. And like there's so many good moments. There's some good moments in this movie. Like I said, I like the part with the meat splattered on the walls. I like the neck breaking. The tiger was interesting.
Yeah.
Though I wish there was more to that as well. Like my biggest complaint honestly has to be the zombies. What like because we're told there are multiple kinds of zombies, it's hard to tell which kind is which at any given point in time. So it's dumb. It's really dumb. We don't know which ones are threatening, which ones we're supposed to take lightly. Even the ones that we're supposed to take threateningly can be taken lightly at times. It's this movie doesn't have a cohesive tone or like threat to it. Especially because they like even end up to bump the urgency. They change the timetable in this movie, and it still does nothing for us.
It feels so contrived.
Yes, and
also, there's no sense of how much time has passed the entirety of this movie.
I feel like time changed, honestly, because at one point they're like, yeah, we have this much time. And then another point they're like, yeah, we have this much time. And then suddenly they have more time than they had before. And like,
yeah, it feels like they have more time than before somehow, some way.
Even though at one point it also felt like they skipped half an hour. So
yeah, time is a construct, Steven.
Mm-hmm. So is
also,
space.
There's a talk about time and like repetition and stuff like that. And like it seems like set up for something, but it goes nowhere.
Also, quick question. How many backpacks did our crew bring?
Enough.
Did they?
No.
No. For how much was
they
left?
Had enough.
Like
for what they needed.
If they were supposed to get all of it, like
Steven.
Yeah.
Actually, another question too.
Hmm?
Is staying inside of a metal construct going to save you from a nuclear device?
But it was a low yield nuclear device. They stated that. But I wondered the same question. If we ask Indiana Jones, the answer is yes.
I mean, I'll give some credit because this thing doesn't go flying, but like at the same time, hot.
Very hot.
Heat.
Fallout.
Flammable substances inside that could combust.
Oxygen in general is a good question. But yeah. This movie literally just feels like Zack Snyder was like, I'm gonna make a movie, and then he did.
Yeah.
Because, like I'll be honest, there are moments that I liked. There are definitely moments when I sat there and I was like, "Ooh, yeah, do it again," and then they didn't. So, disappointed, very disappointed. Could have been so much more.
That's a good way of putting it.
So I guess popcorn time.
Popcorn time.
Here's your 10 kernels, Dev. What you giving to Army of the Dead?
I think it's fighting for a 4, but I don't know if I want to give it a 4.
Okay. I mean, if it makes you feel better, that's probably what I'm gonna give it.
Then I'll give it a 3.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4. because, like I said, I really wanted to like this more, especially with its 2.5 hour runtime. Like,
Oh God, it does not earn that
no, it
in
doesn't
any
need it
way.
in any way. It could have cut out so much. Especially too, the one sequence that bugged me the most is before the vault. Just before the vault. That whole like non-lethal sequence was just too much. So,
Oh yeah, yeah, that was weird.
especially the last scene, like the very last shot of that sequence. I was like, this is so fake. This is so incredibly squish. Ew, fake.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, yeah, this movie gets a 4 overall. 4 out of 10 popcorn kernels.
yeah.
Like, I'm still somewhat torn though to like kind of recommend it, but at the same time, no. You could probably find like a good highlight reel on YouTube of this movie
Also, why the neon poster?
because they're in Vegas.
All the posters for this are all neon. This movie looks just
It's dark and gray and
dark and
brown.
dull and like subdued.
But it's funny because all the costumes are very colorful. Like the zombies all have different color outfits up until we get to just the alphas because then they're all shirtless. But in the beginning
You
of this
can't
movie,
see it.
yeah, you can't see any of the color in this film. It's so dark and dull and depressing. But it's not scary. That I feel like a zombie movie has to be scary. And this at no point was scary.
Yeah, there's not even jump scares.
Which I'm okay with, honestly, but
Well, even then, like if you're trying to be scary, at least fake it.
at least put some sort of threat in here. There was no threat in this movie for our main
All right,
characters.
all right, yeah. We need to move
Yeah,
on because
we're
we already
moving
gave
on.
it
Yeah.
its rating. Yeah.
All right, next movie. Second movie that come out recently. The Quiet Place.
Oh, I didn't do its intro. Sorry, May 21st. This movie pissed me off so much. You know what?
Yeah.
2021. Budget estimated of 70 million. We aren't going to get a return on it. I'm surprised we even have a budget on it. Um.
Hmm.
Anyways, Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place Part 2. I put The Quiet Place for some reason in the text, but it's A Quiet Place.
Yes. Which came out May 28th of 2021. Budget of $47 million, US gross $88 million, and cumulative gross $138 million so far. I added to its budget this weekend. And if I'm allowed to start, Steven, you remember when you said, I don't know if this movie needs a sequel because I don't know what they would do.
Mm-hmm.
I think they perfectly nailed what they would need to do in a sequel.
I both agree and disagree simultaneously.
Because you still don't think there needed to be a sequel. I can understand that.
Like I didn't think they definitely didn't need a sequel for one. But what we got in this movie, like overall, was basically the exact same movie we got before.
No.
It feels pretty darn similar. Like the only difference is we're not giving birth.
Man, did we watch the same movie?
Yes, we did. Like overall,
I feel
story
completely
beat
different
wise,
about you.
I know what you're talking about. Like I thought the best part of this movie was the opening sequence. I'm not saying that this movie is bad because I liked this movie. I think it's a far better movie than Army of the Dead. That's for sure.
Oh, by far.
Yeah. This movie is good. It actually has some scary moments in it that have you feel like anxious and like worried for what's going on. There's more dialogue in this movie too. So there's more like character moments where we can get introduced to our new character that we get to see. But I personally feel like the overall story beats were fairly the same. Where there's even like a storyline with the like mom's storyline is stays in one spot, she helps get medicine, and then she comes back at one point. And that's basically all she does in the other movie. But then in that movie she's pregnant. In this movie, just taking care of the baby. And she somehow has powers over this man who hasn't seen her in however many months to get him to change his mind to do things.
Well, if we talk about spoilers eventually, there's a reason. She reasons with him on something. She essentially pulls at a thing that happened to him and goes like, "Don't let that happen to me." Because there's no way she would be able to go chase her down. In her condition. So Emmett, our new character, played by Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy is also I think, a pretty good actor. He's actually in a different zombie movie we've reviewed, by the way. I'll let you guess which.
I don't want to play these guessing games.
Oh, fine. 28 Days Later.
Thank you.
Which is a good movie as well.
It is. Definitely one of my favorite zombie movies at this point.
Yeah. We also have in this movie Jajam Housoun, our Marvel connection for this movie, who plays Korath from Guardians and Captain Marvel.
There you
also
go.
Batista. Batista's in the last one. I should have said he's Drax, but
yeah,
I feel like
I was wondering if you were going to, but you didn't.
It's an obvious one. I feel like.
You got to get the not obvious ones. I get it.
Yeah, the non-obvious one starts it, and then I'll say the obvious one. Last time when I didn't say Samuel L. Jackson until I said someone else. That's why. Like, it should be a given. Anyways, I don't know. This movie, I think it's really good because it continues the themes from the first movie, without the characters feeling like they regress. I think Reagan, her drive in this movie makes sense, especially given what happens in the first movie. Marcus, his growth in this movie, I think is kind of cool. It's almost unexpected, but it does make sense.
With Marcus, yes. His story is actually one of the ones that I don't like, only because his conflict towards the middle of the movie, his conflict towards the climax of the film, is completely his own damn fault. Because he had absolutely no reason other than his own anxiety to have the events that happened to him happen.
Steven, as someone with anxiety, I get it.
I get it too, but in a movie, it made me frustrated. Because I was like, this is such a manufactured sequence that I don't want to feel anxious for it.
Happen. It's not manufactured because that's how kids act. Especially a kid with anxiety.
Especially because the payoff that we get is for nothing. Like, he goes up there and we didn't need to see what we saw. It doesn't change anything about him or our perspective of his character or what happens in the movie. It just, sure, it might be a kid thing to do, but I don't care about how humid it is. It's a terrible movie decision.
Man, you just hate humans, I think. You just want, robots to act in movies.
Probably be a good movie, actually. I'm just kidding.
No, it's not, because we watched Terminator Genesis.
I mean, I like animation.
No, we didn't watch Genesis. We watched,
Fate.
Dark Fate? Okay, listen, that movie left zero imprint. Outside of it doing a fucked up thing to everyone who watched Terminator 2. Anyways, and I think Emmett is a good addition to this movie.
Emmett was fine, yeah.
I think everyone in this movie has like makes sense what they do, and how they grow, in my opinion. Like I really liked Emmett and Reagan like together. I think they like paired well in this movie. So I think that worked really well in this movie. And I also really like, again, this movie, there's multiple jump scares, but there was one jump scare that actually got me. And it's one of those jump scares that like feels cheap, but it actually sets up for the scary. And I love that because what it is, it's a tension breaker, which is great. Because I like a jump scare if it, like there's tension for it, right? But then, so your tension's broken, and then something happens where like your tension goes from like, oh, like right back up.
I hear you. Yeah, that's actually something I want to talk about too. Is the number of jump scares in this movie, because a majority of the scares in this movie were jump scares, because it's called A Quiet Place. So anytime you're supposed to be scary, it's just a very sudden, out of nowhere, loud noise where it's just like, oh, okay.
It works so well because of the amount of tension that this movie builds every time. Because the moment the movie gets quiet, and like especially in the theater, everyone's quiet, and you're like, oh, something's gonna happen.
By the way, speaking of the theater, how was your theater experience?
I went to the VIP theater. Okay. No, I didn't actually go to the VIP theater. Actually, I went to the normal one, but there was a bunch of old people. Because we went on a Sunday, like me and a couple friends went on Sunday at like noon.
Okay.
So there wasn't a ton of people, and it was just a bunch of old people. So old people aren't gonna really bother with noise. And like, I mean, there's something about like the theater, like being in a theater and having, because you're used to a theater being louder.
It was weird being back in the theater with how loud because all the quiet parts were still very nice and like at a high level, and then the jump scare parts would be like deafeningly loud. You're like, oh god.
But also like the quiet parts, though being like loud for quiet, from movie quiet, are just like deafening in its own way. Like somehow they give silence sound, and I hate it.
I even like sat there,
I love it,
before the movie started. I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy a popcorn and have a soda, and then I'm like, I gotta eat as much of this as I can before the movie starts.
I didn't finish my popcorn because like I would eat and then it would get quieter, and I'm like, no, you don't do that. You get it in your mouth and kind of roll it against your teeth so it slowly breaks quietly, and like you quietly grab the piece out, and then after a certain point it's just so quiet and so tense that I'm sitting here like this
because you can't move your popcorn because they'd hear all of the rustling.
No, but also because I just don't want to move because I'm like, something is about to happen and I don't know what. Because the crows are the only jump scare that got me. But like, dude, this movie, again, the first one I talked about it. The second one does it again. It's my kind of horror because it's a tension horror. And I fucking love it. I love that so much. Just that, like, just because you feel like there's just something like, like at the back of your head. Kind of just going like
this movie has
happening.
This movie has what I wanted Army of the Dead to have, which was the overall impending doom, where you don't feel safe no matter where you are, and this definitely has that. It's good. It's a good scary movie for sure. It's definitely probably one of my favorite ones that we've seen in the last year. That's for sure. Especially too, I think my favorite sequence in this entire movie has to be the opening sequence. Honestly, like it was interesting to see John Krasinski again and, in the movie as Lee, and all that fun stuff. So I liked seeing that part. Then when we get to the end half of the movie, I'll be honest, I was disappointed with the ending. I feel like we needed at least another 10, maybe 15 minutes. If we got it my way, I probably would have thrown 30 minutes in there, because the ending just stops.
Oh, you mean the after that part at the end?
Yeah, I mean literally the ending.
I agree. The ending kind of does the the problem we've had recently of like
it pulled a crawl on us.
Yes. It seems to be a theme we've been having lately is that we've been getting crawled, and I just like I don't know what's happening. like, like those that wish we dead had it, Crawl has it. Like what is happening? Can we not just get like resolution to these movies? Mind you, I think the reason why we get that is because I think they might want a Quiet Place 3, which I'm not as okay with as a Quiet Place 2. Quiet Place 2, I thought made sense. Quiet Place 3, I don't know where they go from this point because it's pretty self-explanatory what happens after. Like
yeah, I could kind of see what happens with 3 being more territorial. Humans are the virus type story, but
we don't need that. We get that plenty with like just like there are plenty other ways to do that. So that
I mean, we kind of got that in this movie already. Like,
I didn't expect that. That to me kind of came out of nowhere. Also, my one problem with this movie, and it's a movie got a movie moment, is how the ending kind of happens because of currents. And it happened. I'm like, Steven might have an issue with that.
Yeah, this doesn't happen this way, but you know, whatever. Boats don't work like that.
It can happen. Just the odds of doing that are interesting.
I'm literally, after I saw that, I literally was like, uh-oh, I think he froze. No, okay, we're good.
No, we're good.
I literally was like picturing, like drawing a picture of one of those things, just paddling, you know? Just like, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, that moment happened. I immediately my first thought was like, this is one of those movie got a movie moments where I can't defend it as much because like it's on the far end of movie got a movie for a movie that hasn't had to movie much.
Yeah, especially with the our Marvel connection of the week. What happens with his character? It's just like that's so movie got a movie right here. Like, what the hell just fucking happens? You're such a dumb idiot.
Dude, yeah, no, 100%. I 100% agree with you right there. Overall, though, like, barring those two kind of things, I think this movie is just a really good movie overall, though. And I would suggest, if it's still in theaters, go see it. If you're vaccinated, and you're comfortable still going to a theater, I'd suggest it. It's worth it.
I definitely recommend this.
Don't go to the theater if you're not vaxxed, though. Fuck you.
Yeah, don't be that person. For the safety of everybody around you, don't do it.
Yeah.
And by I don't mean the people at the theater. I mean your family.
Yeah. Yep.
So, popcorns?
Popcorns. I'll give you your popcorn.
I am gonna give this movie a 7.5. Good movie.
All right.
Have some complaints. Oh, pretty darn good though. Pretty darn good.
I'm gonna give it a little less than I gave the first one.
Okay, I don't remember.
I'll give it a 9. Because I think I gave the last one either a 10 or a 9.5.
Don't we have it in drives?
No, because I think we reviewed this a couple years ago. Mine goes back to 2020. I haven't gone. Yeah, how much work it's gonna be to go get the previous ones.
I'd have to upload them to YouTube first. So yes, I do know how much work it would be.
Yeah. So that does give it an 8.5 overall, which is about where I thought it would be. Overall, I think this movie is it's worth watching. Like, I think if you really like the first one, you're gonna really like this. Because this is more like it builds upon what we had before, and it's that kind of suspenseful horror. Mind you, one of the people I brought, like they were the first one I asked. I'm like, hey, you want to go see The Quiet Place after our hike? And she's like, yeah. And then we got there, and she asked, wait, is this a scary movie? And I went, oh, right, you don't like scary movies. Oh, no. I tried to play it down. I'm like, I mean, there might be a couple jump scares.
I gotta know. I need more gossip on this. Freak out? Lots of freak outs?
She actually did really well.
Okay.
She jump scared at the point that I did. She's one of those ones that just locks in place. She barely touched your popcorn. We got done with it. I'm like, you did really well. And she's like, I don't want to do this again. I'm like, I don't blame you. I'm sorry.
Heck yeah, I'll watch a movie. Wait. A horror movie?
Oops. That's my bad. But
so,
yeah.
Ready to talk about our last movie of the day?
Yeah, let's talk about
the movie that came out most recently, Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
By recently, it came out this weekend on June 4th, 2011, or 2022, whatever, 2021, whatever. I don't know what year it is. I got no budget or anything like that, but it's so far made worldwide 33 million, which isn't too bad, for the time we live in. Steven, you know how we like the first two of these movies? We haven't reviewed the second one, but I like the second one. This movie's starting to go down the path that the other ones went down, and I'm just not for it.
You want to know why? Well, at least
not directed by James Wan.
Exactly. Yes, it's directed 100%. By the guy who made Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah, 100%. I can tell. Like
James,
because he was going to do Fast.
Like James Wan is a great horror film director. I want him to make more. He needs to come back. Because this movie, like, don't get me wrong, it definitely has some good traditional horror moments where on occasion you get that that tension and the like, ooh, what's gonna happen moments and the scary bits. But overall, this movie honestly just feels like they took two separate stories and smushed them together to try and make a film. At least to me.
Didn't do it well.
No. Like it came out all right. The creepiest part to me, honestly, is the body horror stuff that happened.
Yeah, and they've always done that pretty well.
Yeah.
In this franchise.
I thought the cinematography in this movie was pretty decent. But it wasn't anywhere near the capacity of like James Wan and what he does when he sets up like this movie had a good handful of jump scares in it. But they weren't all true jump scares. Like there's a true jump scare and a false jump scare. I'm not sure if I've ever really explained the difference. So to get a good definition, I will type it in for you.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. There we go. False jumps. There we go. Okay. Oh, hey, look, there's literally a movie made using The Conjuring just today. That's funny. So, let's see here. Definition, explanation. Oh, come on. Let's see. Oh, jump scare. Whatever. Fuck it. I ignore that I even brought it up. I can't find a concise definition anywhere. But essentially, a true scare is something where a scare pays off for a real reason, while a false scare is most common jump scares where you set up a jump scare and your payoff is something like a cat running out the window.
Yes. And like I said with the last one, like the last movie, those work if it has it. Like you could do a fake out kind of one if it pays out after. I'm cool with that, right? Because then it's like it subverts the expectation. And this one has one of those moments with the rat.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of this movie, I really don't feel like has those much.
I'd say not, yeah. Like, Ultimately, I'd say so. Yeah, it's just this movie really felt like it was. They came up with the ideas for the scares first, and then they filled in the story in between. And
that is a great way of putting it. Like, how do we get from scare to scare?
yeah,
What plot bullshit do we put in for that?
mm-hmm. And especially too because overall the end story is we need like it's a prophecy of some kind, but the targets change and it doesn't matter, and sometimes there's more than like it's just confusing at moments. And though I will have to say my favorite character in this is John Noble's character, and because he feels like the most complex and interesting out of all the characters. Um, though Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, they are very good actors. I love their characters. They still make a great Ed and Lorraine Warren. Um, but I still have to say John Noble and Father Kastner was definitely my favorite person.
Yeah, I can agree. I can agree to that point.
Did we ever get a name for our bad person?
Let me see. I think it is the oculist.
Cultist.
The occultist, yeah. Sorry. I don't read no good.
Okay, I don't expect you to read. I don't pay you to read. You don't pay me at all. You guys are getting paid? um
Oh yeah.
I
I mean,
go ahead, sorry.
I don't like this movie. Like that's my problem with it. Like I wanted to like because I've liked the other Conjuring movies.
Mhm.
Um and like because I like Conjuring, and Conjuring 2 was the horror movie that kind of got me back into trying to enjoy horror. Because I went to see that without seeing the first one on a date, and I like walked away from being like, "Oh, I enjoyed this actually," which I didn't expect to, because I'm not a like I wasn't a horror fan, and I'm still not really a horror fan. But there are ones that tickle my fancy.
Mhm.
Jordan Peele's I like. I liked the first two Conjurings. I like The Quiet Places. I just this one just doesn't do it.
Mhm.
It's a disservice to the franchise because and the
Well,
problem is since Conjuring 2, I don't think they've been doing well.
I was about to let me ask you that. You say it's a disservice to the franchise. Does that keep in mind all of Annabelle and The Nun and Curse of La Llorona, or
It does now because because like the problem was the first two Conjurings were good, okay? And that's what I would consider the core of the franchise because the other ones have elements of those, but they don't hit what the OGs are supposed to do.
Mhm.
Um, and then this one falls victim to that, which I think is like it becomes the disservice of it because like you you at least could have made these good. If the spin-offs are shit, they are shit, okay? Whatever. We can deal with that. As long as this part was good, but they're not. So in a way I understand what you're trying to say,
Mhm.
but what I'm trying to get at is this one was supposed to be good. We don't expect the spin-offs to be good, if that makes sense.
I hear it's funny. I heard somebody the other day call the Conjuring movies like your fast food equivalent of horror films. And that's ultimately disappointing to me because I love fast food and I do not love these horror films. Like,
Right? They're not. The problem is like fast food films, like let's say Fast and Furious. Those
that,
are fast food films.
yes, absolutely.
That is, I wouldn't give it McDonald's because there's a quality to it that Fast and Furious only brings. Um, so I'd consider it like your.
It's In and
I
Out
can.
Burger.
I wouldn't give it that much credit. I'd give it Wendy's.
Okay.
In and Out / Five Guys is what I would do for Marvel. Okay.
Okay.
If we're going fast food for it, because I think it has more quality to its fast food. Wendy's has quality, but it's also schlop. It's quality schlop. It's not your McDonald's, it's not your Carl's Jr. where they overcook the patties. This movie, this franchise is slowly becoming the Burger King of fast food
There we go.
movies. Occasionally, there's something good there, like let's say cheap nuggets or
I love
chicken
their chicken
fries.
I love Burger King's chicken, which is sad because they're supposed to be the Burger King.
God, this is so true. The thing about it too is like it the rest of the franchise is like a Whopper, and the Whopper's not that good. I know people like the Whopper, but I'm like, why? It's just a burger with lettuce, tomato, and onion.
I would much rather have the original chicken sandwich, where it's the chicken patty with lettuce and mayo. That's it. It still tastes better.
Yeah, 100% agree. If I'm getting a burger, I'd rather, like, Burger King is the bottom of my list. I would rather have Jack in the Box, Carl's Jr., McDonald's, Wendy's, In-N-Out, Whataburger. I'm not even a Whataburger fan. I've had Whataburger. I went to San Antonio. I didn't really care for it. But Whataburger is far higher above Burger King. And that's what I'm going to say. Every other fast food movie I can go to, fucking slashers are above it in this, in my opinion. Because slashers are fast food horror.
Yeah, I was literally thinking, like, you were naming one thing, and I was like, that's Nightmare Before Elm Street. This is Nightmare on Elm Street.
If we're going fast food burgers, yeah, like for horror, yeah, 100%. Like your In-N-Outs and like
I'd probably call it Alien. The like small, like the Alien would probably be like the more.
The problem is the rest
stores.
of the franchise.
Yeah.
The problem with horror is if you go past the rest of the franchise, like horror has a problem of going past 2.
So it's McDonald's then, because then once we get the McRib,
pretty much everything horror is a McDonald's. You have like your 2 things, the double cheeseburger or like variants of the double cheeseburger, so like the single patty, triple, and the Big Mac. Those are always hits. Everything else could be hit or miss. You've got like your I guess the quarter. You know what? McDonald's has more hits than misses. Yeah. God, what Jack in the Box. Well, no, actually, Jack in the Box has some bangers too.
Jack in the Box, it's all about their side dishes.
Yeah, but like their sourdough and like their butter one, the bacon ultimate cheeseburger's not bad. No, 100% we are. That's where we're going though. Listen, we're here.
It's still the point being made. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it would be more. I think it would be more Carl's Jr. Because
a little pricey, but
yes, but like they have some hits like the double bacon western, but they have a lot of misses. Like,
yeah, I love the 2 for $6 Western bacon deal that they have.
And you've got your other things like their Big Carl kind of sucks. For a Big Mac imitation, it's like there's something just wrong about this. It's not right. And the fact that they overburn the fucking burgers like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So I've almost rarely ever gotten a burger there where it wasn't like charred in some form or fashion.
Okay.
So which always makes me a little like disappointed.
But getting back on topic real fast here, Dev.
Yes.
You know there is also a Marvel connection of the week in this movie?
It's not Patrick Wilson or
Vera. Nope.
Is this one you have up on me?
Yeah.
Have you said their name?
I haven't said it yet. Would you like me to?
Yes.
Julian Hilliard. The boy plays Billy Maximoff.
That's why I recognize him. Oh, Good pull, Steven. Bravo.
There we
That's
go.
why he's a pretty good actor. All right, the kid's not bad. Because I like one thing I can't complain about the child actor in this. He's not bad.
Yeah, he did pretty good.
Julian, keep it up. You're pretty damn good. Nice. Okay.
There's a Marvel connection of the week in every one of these movies.
Oh shit! Thank you, Steven. I was like, oh, there's none in this week. I didn't okay, he Clark Kent. That's why I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, it's the glasses. I understand.
It's glasses.
Yeah.
Again, further proof that Clark Kent's disguise is not as dumb as people say it is.
There's also technically a DC movie connection with.
I know, because of Patrick Wilson. I am the Ocean Master.
There's also what's her name? Charlene Amoya. She is Maria Bertinelli.
Wait, where is she?
The very last person on the list for IMDb of Conjuring. I literally am.
Do you have the cast expanded or no?
No.
Okay, let me go back then. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Charlene Amoya, who plays Judy Gatzel. He was in Birds of Prey. She's not a main role character, mind you, but she was in it.
I don't see her on this list.
I search for her name.
Why don't I see her?
Oh, there it is. She is in the extended cast list beneath one of the Bertinelli kids. She's like behind two patrol cops. Then there's Stephen Williams as Captain Patrick Erickson, and then Charlene Amoya as Maria Bertinelli.
Charlene Bertinelli?
Yeah, because it's the Bertinelli diamond.
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, I'm saying like I'm trying to look at the cast for The Conjuring and find her.
Oh, it's literally, if you just click on IMDb's The Devil Made Me Do It.
I'm on there.
Okay. So right above where it says director Michael Chavez, Charlene Amoya. He plays Judy Glatzel. We have different looking IMDb's because
I'm thinking that's weird.
Because
there she is. I found her.
Yeah.
She's in the middle of my list, like under Paul Wilson.
Yeah, for me,
above Davis Osborne.
For me, I don't see Davis Osborne. Mine says Paul Wilson and then Charlene Amoya, and then
mine stops at Judy Warren.
Judy Warren.
It stops before Judy Warren. It stops at Mariel. Or Mariel? Ashleen LeConte Campbell?
Oh, it was like Meryl?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, mine has her and then Sterling Jerry.
Yeah.
Paul and then Charlene and then...
Yeah. Mine didn't go that far.
Strange.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
That caused a way longer tangent than it needed to.
I was about to say, yeah, I don't know what's the problem here. I'm literally staring at it. I haven't changed anything.
Yeah. All right then. Outside of our connections, again, I'm just kind of sad about how this movie it goes for the lowest common denominator of stuff.
I kind of wish we got more too, like, because this movie ultimately is about, you'd say, witchcraft, right?
supposed to be.
Yeah, like I wish we got to see more of what happened with the witchcraftness, or like more of the demon and what it can do, because it was really underwhelming. Like, it's not Curse of La Llorona underwhelming, where the main threat only chases after children, so the adult character really doesn't have to worry about anything except for protecting her children, but still somehow gets marked. Uh, like this movie, more just kind of like I said, it has a moment that it wants to set up, so it does its best to set up that scare, and then once they get that done, they're like, okay, how do we set up the next scare? And I like it's definitely not as good as A Quiet Place 2, but I
No,
wouldn't say it's,
I reach it.
yeah, it's not bad though, because it, like, I would put this one, like I said earlier, as a more like traditional middle of the road horror film.
Yeah, it's serviceable horror.
Yeah. So
We've seen far worse horror. Obviously, this I want to consider Arm of the Dead even horror. Um,
yeah,
we've seen worse horror with the uh exorcism of whatever with the cross in the fucking photo.
yeah, all the
Um,
exorcism of movies. There's too many.
yeah, seriously. I keep thinking it's Emily Rose, but I think that's the more popular one.
That is the more popular one.
The one that had the website that like used to take you to the rest of the movie essentially.
Mm-hmm.
God, that was bullshit. I loved it. I love that.
X.
I love that for that movie.
Oh. I'm just gonna look it up elsewhere.
And the one way you know you can reach it no matter what.
Yes.
To the files. Anyways, while Steven does that, searching the vault. Like, no, seriously, this movie just like it goes for the lowest common denominator stuff, which just doesn't work for it. And it sets up it really like at least in the first two, even though we knew Ed and Lorraine weren't gonna die, this movie tries to go too heavy-handed into it
Mhm.
by putting them in too many situations where like there's no way they die in this because it's too over the top.
Like,
Like
they tried though, especially with like what they did with Ed. Um,
yeah.
they tried to make it seem like more could happen than actually does. So I at least give them credit for trying to make the stakes amp up a little bit, where it's like he can't even run through the forest without danger. But we ultimately know they're gonna survive.
Well, the other thing too is like in the other movies, other than like Conjuring 2 kind of having that moment where like Ed might fall out the window,
Mm.
um, they don't really go too hard into being like these two are in the danger. It's usually the family, which you would know less about. Um, so like also there are some things that those two get away with that I'm like, there's no way they don't get like at least charged with potential things. And I'm like, how'd you talk your way out of this one, guys? Because like, there's a couple things in that house that cops might ask about. I know I'm doing the Mickey voice, but like, this is Mickey, Mouse Detective.
Hell, they're gonna ask questions about why they broke into the police station, because that's a thing that happened in this movie.
Was it the police station or the morgue?
I'm assuming they're the same place in this small town.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to say either way. They still break into a building. They do a little B&E.
Mm-hmm. And difficulty finding the file. I can't. It's gone forever. I'm just kidding.
That would have been, I think, it might have been 2018. I don't know if it was 2017. I don't think that was the first year of the show. I think it was second year. Yeah, it was second year because I was definitely going to theater in Wenatchee.
the problem is a few things actually, but it's unimportant.
Hold on, I might be able to find it on this site actually if this thing goes back far enough.
On that one website that I've never used.
Yeah, the
Oh,
one I always use for this.
it's The Possession of Hannah Grace.
Okay, that's why I always fuck it up. God, that is arguably one of the worst horror movies we've ever watched. And this isn't at that level. It's just it's a serviceable horror movie that exists.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks saying for a franchise that has two of my more enjoyable horror movies. One of them might make top 5 for me horror wise. Maybe it could fight for it. But the rest of it just doesn't do what it should do, and yeah, it
is a disappointment.
yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah, this week has ultimately became a disappointment because I was so stoked for new horror movies, especially like going to the theater for one of them, and the theater movie went pretty darn well.
Yes, 100%. Thank God.
Yeah, but these other two movies, I was like, so like I even got my family. I was like, okay, all I have left to watch is Army of the Dead and The Conjuring. Which one do you want to watch with me? And they chose Army of the Dead because they thought a zombie movie directed by Zack Snyder was going to be more interesting. So it's just a bunch of disappointments.
That is an understatement.
Apparently,
you know
too,
what? What? Go ahead.
I hit the spoiler button by mistake, but
oh well. Let's see if we could just give it a rating and I can hit it.
Yeah, why not?
Do you want to go first?
Sure, why not? This movie, Conjuring, the Devil Made Me Do It. A 5.
Oh, I thought you were gonna give it higher.
Really?
Yeah, I'm giving it a 5 as well. I thought you would at least go 5.5.
Okay.
I'm getting a 5 as well. Dude, the last 2 weeks with our fucking third movie, they've been 5s. I'm really hoping this isn't the theme for the month.
Just because the last movie, the very last movie of this month.
At least, honestly, we should have the rest of this month should be fun. Straight up.
I would think so.
Because we did add a movie to the list.
Yes, we did.
know next week is going to be good. The next 2 weeks after that will be enjoyable too from a popcorn movie's perspective.
True, but what I was saying there is if the third movie is just a 5, then Fast 9 is just going to be a 5. Makes it a completely average movie, and I really hope that's not what happens.
Oh God, you know how sad I'll be if that's the case?
I mean,
my life will be sad. Sad.
I saw the trailer for Fast 9 at the theater. What the fuck are we watching?
Is it the newer one where they do the thing off of the thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where they go, yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Why are we here?
I thought it would be in the 10th one, but
yeah,
no.
The 10th one's gonna be dinosaurs. Who'd have thought?
I mean, maybe. I'm all for it, Steven. You have no idea. I love this franchise. It's so stupid. Oh, I can't
Jesus.
wait.
All right, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can you hit the buttons?
Get ready to spoiler. What is there to really spoiler? Because I feel like non-spoiler talk, we kind of talked through the points that like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, generally, I kind of want to go over. We can kind of go over all 3 movies at this point. So,
okay. Why robots?
Why robots? I don't know. I think he had an idea behind it. Like, I think there are supposed to be multiple robots. Like, the baby is part robot.
I think there were supposed to be, like, an actual, like, I feel like something got straight up cut from this movie.
Let's see. Robot zombies. So
I think there's an entire, like, plot line cut from this movie.
Yeah, let's see. So, Den of Geeks, Army of the Dead Robot Zombie Mystery Explained. That will need to be answered in future sequels. Yes, I understand that. Sorry, can't scroll down here. Oh, because I have to accept cookies.
Fucking cookies. I just. Why robots?
Okay, this is the theory that's going on here. If you the sentence that is in here, it says, if you pay close attention, there's a number of zombies that are clearly not zombies. You see normal zombies, then you see some robot zombies. Are they monitors that the government has placed among the zombies to monitor them? Are they technology from other worlds? Question mark.
Well, my thing about it was, if this movie was going to follow the plot line that Van said, or it's like, what if we're just puppets in this machine and repeating and repeating and repeating? The robot thing would have made more sense. But we get the ending we get, and the robot thing makes no sense.
Snyder suggests an earthly explanation to Polygon. Like, is Zeus, the main zombie, some sort of covert bioweapon? The same could be said for any of the robot zombies. It could be that man-made or something not from this world. Either way, the robot is further proof that not all of this movie, not all is as it seems as a movie. Maybe Van is correct when someone said that we are messing with the fabric of time and repeating the same time loop. What if this is a Cloverfield movie?
Like, my problem is, at least with Cloverfield movies, we understand kind of what they're going for. This is supposed to be a zombie movie. You're not supposed to be deeper than that. Because, like, you start doing that and then you leave open-ended questions, it's just going to make your movie worse. I'm sorry. Just straight up. The movie's worse for this. Because there's a straight-up scene where, what's his name? Gita. No, not Gita. What's his name?
Peter?
Guzman.
Goose? The killing man?
Yeah, the dude with the video.
Yeah.
Which was actually kind of funny. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Double kill. Kill.
Goose was actually, you know what? I take that back. Goose is a third enjoyable character. And I think it's probably because he was paired with Van and Dieter for a bit of this movie. So I think that makes him work more. But when he shoots at one zombie and it's just a robot, like, that's all they do for it. They like, because you see the blue-eyed zombie, you're like, what is this about? And then all of a sudden he does, like, a few scenes later, this happens, and you're like, oh, maybe they'll see that and be like, what is going on? And then maybe that's what an ending will be. But no, it's just there and then dropped.
Yeah, it's reading more of this Den of Geeks article. It says, ultimately, Snyder is saving the answers for the larger cinematic universe he's creating for Netflix. An anime prequel series called Army of the Dead Lost Vegas will focus on the start of the outbreak. Meanwhile, Army of Thieves, a prequel directed and starring Matthias Dieter, follows the German safecracker Ludwig Dieter as he and what he was up to just before joining Scott's team. Army of the Dead.
We don't need this.
Yeah.
We don't need this.
It's the Army of the Dead 2. I'd make it in a second, says Zack Snyder to Polygon. What we have planned is too crazy. Once we know more about what happens with Vanderoon, he and him going to New Mexico, going to Mexico City, I was like, you know what? It's gonna happen. And then I went on a bit of a tear, and by the time it ended, Netflix was like, okay. So apparently he's crazy and has even more crazy ideas for the sequel.
Ah!
So, yeah. Like,
why? This is further proof that Zack just needs to be put into to do just single films, okay? He doesn't need to have an idea for a universe, okay? Stop giving Zack universes, for the love of God, people. Please.
Yeah, he needs it. It's fine.
No! Steven, you know this is true. Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Not true. Nah.
No, that's impossible. Okay, all right. Okay. Quiet Place 2. There's not much that we can really spoil on that, other than the fact that
fun fact. My favorite sequence in this whole movie was the bus scene. where Emily Blunt is driving away backwards from a bus. And I found a behind the scenes article where apparently Emily Blunt and John Krasinski had a few rough days afterwards because, I mean, normally those kinds of stunts are done around 25 miles an hour for the safety of everybody. So it still looks fast, but it's relatively slow. That stunt, that bus was driving at 40 miles an hour, and that was actually Emily Blunt driving it. So there was no stunt double. There were actually the kid actors in the back seat with the bus driving at them at 40 miles an hour. And Emily Blunt was such a pro, they did it in one take.
All right.
The article was saying that John Krasinski and Emily Blunt were having relationship problems because of one sequence. And it was, he asked her to do too much because she was utterly terrified of being chased by a 40-mile-an-hour bus. Understandable so.
Understandably.
So
also, I know people keep asking for Emily Blunt and John Krasinski to be Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. I'm okay with them not.
I'm okay with them not.
I feel like that casting them for those roles just seems too, like, that's too fan casty, in my opinion. Like, I know we got Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, but he was legitimately perfect for the role.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think John Krasinski will make a really enjoyable Mr. Fantastic. Personally,
I don't think so either. Like he's not a bad actor by any means.
no.
But I haven't seen like the qualities that I've seen in other Mr. Fantastics.
Yeah. Other than that, I think this movie's really good and you should see it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um
Let's see. And then with
Conjuring.
this movie, Conjuring, I think my favorite part of The Conjuring was the morgue.
My favorite part was the credits.
You're funny.
I know, thank you. I mean, I don't know if I really do have a favorite point in this movie. Like, it just feels so contrived the entire way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my problem with it. Like, it never feels earned with what it does. So,
And it doesn't feel like there's any real genuine stakes. Like our main character, the one that we care the most about is, or like the main victim, Arnie. But we don't really care much about Arnie, except
I mean, Emmett.
Yes, Emmett's the boy at first, but then it goes to Arnie.
Oh wait, what? Arnie?
Yeah, the older man, the one who ends up in the prison. His name is Arne.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, I'm looking at The Conjuring or The Quiet Place. Yeah, you're right. Arnie's right. Sorry, I was on the wrong thing.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about, Emmett?
Sorry, my bad. You know, that's how little I remember this movie.
Like
I saw it literally yesterday. No, I saw it Saturday. Still not a good sign.
But yeah, like he's supposed to be the one we care the most about and why we're going on this journey. But there's no like literally the whole I needed a better reason why. We got no like what would have happened if the prophecy was fulfilled. We got no why Arnie was chosen, and it didn't. It really just that was the stuff that really took me out of it. And the movie itself talked about like there is no reason behind why Arnie's the victim. He's just the victim because Satanists are crazy. They're the embodiment of chaos. And
yeah,
sure, that's fine. But it's not a compelling story. Like maybe
no, it's not.
Maybe if you were Ed and Lorraine, it'd be a very compelling story to be like, ooh, a chaos cult? Let's research them. But we are not Ed and Lorraine. We are just a random voice or a random pair of eyeballs that gets to see what's happening. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like overall, if I had to say which movie was the best, we've done it by saying A Quiet Place 2 was the better out of these three scary.
100%.
Especially because one of them wasn't scary at all, and the other one was
Yep.
basic scary. So yeah, I haven't got anything else, honestly.
Neither do I.
All right, let's move on to the news.
Do you have any news this week?
I have
really?
one bit of news.
Okay.
Oh, I've hit the news button. Okay, do you hit the news button? Okay. So, I didn't post it on the thing, but have you heard of the Munsters?
Are we getting a reboot?
Guess who's directing it?
Do I have?
So it's a Munsters movie, and it's being directed by Rob Zombie.
No.
Zombie has confirmed
it's not supposed to be a scary movie. The Munsters aren't scary. They're a comedy TV show. Oh, this is the last person this should be given to.
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah. It's attention, boils and ghouls. The rumors are true. My next film project will be the one I've been chasing for 20 years, The Munsters. Stay tuned for exciting details and things to progress.
Dude, if he makes it into one of his horror movies, I'm done. Man. Especially after we watched the Halloweens that he did, like, bro. Oh man, Steven.
Like,
you know what?
The last paragraph of this article I love. It's from the slashfilm.com, and it says, "Of course, now we have to wonder what a Rob Zombie directed Munsters would look like. Zombie is a self-professed fan of the series, so I doubt he's going to drastically alter things. But then again, he might. Will all the Munsters be hillbillies who say fuck all the time and their characters like all the other characters in Zombie's other movies? Maybe. I'm often at odds with Zombie as a filmmaker. I feel like he's a great visual stylist and he can create truly fantastic images." He quotes Lord of Salem as his inspiration for that statement. And then, however, when it comes to screenwriting, he's often incredibly lackluster. Ideally, I'd like to see him direct a film written by someone else, but maybe he's just interested in making a movie that he didn't pen himself. Still, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at all at least slightly bit curious about what was going to happen.
Oh, him and Zack have a lot in common.
Yeah. I like I said with Army of the Dead, I felt like the entire movie was like this edgelord, like, how edgy can I be? Oh yeah, boobs, blowjobs, brain matter, got all the bees, butts. They're butts too.
You know what, Steven? At least there's some good news this week that I have.
You have good news? That's good to hear.
Uh-huh.
What's your news?
What comes out in 2 days?
Does it begin with an L?
And then with an Okie?
Yes.
Loki. Dude, I cannot wait. Every trailer for this makes me more intrigued because it doesn't give you any answers. It literally leaves me with even those fucking like 30-second ones. I'm like, okay, is there anything I can kind of get from this other than that Loki's like kind of time traveling a little bit? No, that's all we've got. Loki's with the time cops. That's all we know. That's all we get. So I'm in. Let's go. Yeah, that comes out in 2 days. So
first, do we know how many episodes are dropping for the first day? Is it like 2 like before, or?
I'm not sure if they do what they did with I can't remember if it's gonna be 10 episodes or 8 episodes like so it might be a longer episode that drops because they usually drop like an hour's worth on the first day of it, and then like they might do some shorter ones and then the longer ones towards the tail end.
Like I know with WandaVision, they wanted to release the first 3 episodes all on the same day, but they only did the first 2 because they needed more time.
Yes, which is understandable and perfectly fine. Because I think like having that 3rd episode the next week really helped the intrigue in the show. So I'd be cool with 2 episodes. I don't think we need 3.
Yeah, at least 2.
If they're like half hour, 45 minutes.
So I'll be honest, I get so disappointed with the Bad Batch episodes because they're so fucking short.
Oh, dude, seriously, they have like, there's so much there that you want to latch onto, and then it ends. I'm like, damn you!
Give me more! Fuck! Yeah. And I do, one quick side tangent real fast. I haven't told anyone else this, but I love that the Bad Batch is a spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off of a prequel.
Yes, 100%.
Like, it's
and that prequel is like the show is also a spinoff of the prequels and the originals because it's brought up in the originals. The Clone Wars. You served in the Clone Wars. It's just a line that's thrown away, and then we get the Attack of the Clones, and then this is a continuation of that because it's a continuation of the Clone Wars movie, which continued into the Clone Wars show,
which continued then into Bad Batch,
which is also technically a continuation of Episode 3.
And kind of a Mandalorian. Just kidding. It's not connected to the Mandalorian.
It could be a prequel to it. Who knows?
I mean, in some way, there will be something.
Actually, yeah, there's some prequel lead to the Mandalorian.
I mean,
there's a connection to the Mandalorian.
We got spoilers for Bad Batch real fast. Caleb, he's there. So.
Oh, dude, I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Also, his master used to have a green lightsaber, like in the comics and stuff, like, and like Andy Blanchett, who used to work with the Achievement Hunter, is like Disney and their discrimination against green lightsabers because in the show she ends up with a blue. They just have something against green lightsabers and just phasing them out. I don't know why. The green lightsabers are great.
Probably something about making it harder to film because they like to use
it's an animation.
Well, yes, but I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I don't know.
Bad Batch is great.
Yes, absolutely. I haven't got any other news, honestly, other than next week.
I ain't got any other news. Yeah, let's go into next week, because I added the third one to it, so.
Okay, so yeah. Dev decided that this month is our triple header month. Or whatever.
You're welcome. Yeah, the month of triple headers.
Mm-hmm.
Because it felt weird that there was just one lone week that was 2. Because I know we usually have like one lone week or 2 that's like 3 on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine, in my opinion. Because
it's like call it opposite month where we instead of having only 1 3 week, we had only one.
Okay, we can use that later.
Okay. And then we watch all of our least hated movies or most hated movies again, and then we talk about how much we love them. Opposite month.
That means we go back to fucking Death Note and Dragon Ball Evolution.
We watch them on the same
Avatar. Ah! I can't, Steven. No. Anyways, do you want to name them off?
Sure.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll go through it. The first one that we're doing is Moana because next week is Lin-Manuel Miranda week.
Yes.
So we're starting with Moana since that's one of his earlier musical properties. Then we're going to get into Hamilton because musicals are cool and he's in it and he made the music and whatever. And then
these are all ones that he wrote the music for.
Yeah. And then we're getting into In the Heights.
Yes.
Because he wrote the music for that one too. Oh.
And it's new.
Yeah.
And then we get to the point that I've been waiting for fucking 2. I've been waiting for this point, Steven, for literally 2 years.
Every
time
that,
you right?
say that, you say a longer time period. Like,
well, because we were supposed to do it. Like, we reviewed the first ones in 2019. Because we did Hobbs and Shaw in 2019. And then we did the other 2, I think, in 2019.
I think we waited because we were
it was 2020. Yeah, we decided to do it in 2020 because I was like, I can't wait for us to do like 3, 3, and 3. And you pushed it till 2020. So I've been waiting over 2 years, actually, because I've been waiting since we did Hobbs and Shaw, which would have been early 2019. Man, I've been waiting for so long for the 2 weeks that end this month, Steven. I hope you realize this, and I'm so happy we're finally getting it.
It starts with stealing CD and DVD players and ends with them slingshotting their cars off a cliff with a destroyed rope bridge.
Chain bridge.
My apologies. chain bridge. A destroyed chain bridge.
They're sturdier.
I'm not even going to talk about what was in the second trailer, in the most recent trailer.
Yeah.
Because that's a load of bullshit.
I can't wait. Good old, a little bit extra nos, Steven, to get there.
You're going to need a lot more nos to get there.
Did you see the nos, the big old nos?
I fucking hate it. I love it and I hate it. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Dude,
how did we get this far?
The balls on this franchise.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's literally like, why hasn't anyone said no to Vin Diesel? Do you need to beat him in an arm wrestling match? Like, what goes on?
Who said no to James Wan? Because his, just like, I think his are the best.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think he stepped away for 8 and then came back for 9.
Fate of the Furious.
Yeah.
You didn't spell that right. Isn't there supposed to be an 8 in there?
Oh, you know, that's a good point. It is 8.
Fate of the Furious.
Yeah, you're right, 100%. Good job. Good catch. Good catch. You're learning. Welcome, Steven. You're going to be part of the family.
What about Bird
You also
family?
have no idea. You have no idea where Tokyo Drift fits in the timeline yet, either.
Isn't it supposed to be at the very end? In like the future that hasn't even happened yet?
I can't say. I can't wait till we get there, Stephen.
Fast 9 takes place before Fast 4. We'll get there. So, we'll get there in 3 weeks. So, but next week, like I said, Lin-Manuel Miranda musicals. So Moana, where Dev will reenact the chicken. Hamilton, where Dev will
you gotta play that clip then once.
Then we'll have yeah. I'll get that clip primed up and ready to go. And then we'll have Hamilton.
Send it to me and then I could tweet it out.
Then in Hamilton, Dev will pretend to be the king.
No, that's you, 100%. You've got that. That's your song.
I do
Steven.
love that song. But you're the one who's snobby enough to be the king.
Oh, go fuck yourself, Mr. Critic. I'm the king who's a man of the people, sir.
$10 founding father.
Yeah. And then we're in the Heights.
Yep.
I can't wait for that because I have no idea what that one's about. So
I'm just looking forward to Lin-Manuel Miranda's next musical, where it takes place in New York, but like 40 years in the future, where it's sci-fi. Because we have one from the 200, 300 years ago, and we have one from like 10 to 20 years ago, and then now we need one like 200 years in the future, all set in New York, and we'll all be set.
Yeah.
Expecting a different response. Oh well.
I don't have anything to add to that. You went off for your little tangent. I didn't know where to go with it. I'm sorry.
I was expecting anger or anything,
sorry,
but
no, Steven, I'm sorry for throwing away my shot. In the future, I'm not throwing away my shots.
at least you'll try. All right. I got nothing else. You got anything else?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Kind of. Just like I said, not throwing away my shot.
Bye, everyone.
Do all the things.
Yeah, do all the things. Like, comment, subscribe, reviews. Yeah, you're awesome. We'll see you next week for musically inclined happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, yo. I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry. I'm not throwing away my shots.
Or we actually get out real fast. I'm just kidding. We're out of here. Bye.
I'm going to get to scholarship to King's College.